Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are having a great day so far. So today's video is going to be a haul update on a few of the products that I picked up in my recent e.l.f. haul video. I got some new products, some old favorites, and then a bunch of skincare. I am going to do a completely separate video on the skincare products because there are so many of them, and then there are a few that I haven't picked up, so I'm going to try to get my hands on all of them and do like a complete e.l.f. skincare overview for you guys. So stay tuned for that video. I will try to get it up next month, maybe January at the very latest, so I have time to test everything out. But in the meantime, I thought I would go ahead and do a review for you guys on the other products. I tried to film a full face e.l.f. Get Ready With Me and do like first impressions on all of the products, but the problem was I was introducing way too many new products at one time, so I couldn't tell which ones were working, which ones weren't, so I had to completely delete that video because it turned out horribly. So I've been introducing them slowly, and I definitely have an idea of which products I think you guys should pick up and which ones you should avoid. So if you are interested in hearing my thoughts, then just keep watching. So let me go through a few of my favorites. I've actually incorporated a lot of these into my everyday makeup routine, and some of them are great alternatives to more expensive, higher end options. I wouldn't say any of them are necessarily dupes, but they're definitely just great products that I'll even use in place of my higher end products a lot of times. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the one that a lot of you guys were curious about, and that is the e.l.f. Loose Translucent Setting Powder. I can't remember the exact name, but I'll put it on the screen along with the price so you guys know for sure. And a lot of you wanted to know if it was a dupe for the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. I would have to say it's not a dupe, but it is an amazing affordable option. I'm sure this is like a fourth of the price of the Laura Mercier powder, and I have to say it really does almost the exact same thing. I do love my Laura Mercier powder because it gives my skin a really beautiful airbrushed effect, and I feel like that powder is a little bit thicker, so even though it is a translucent setting powder, I feel like it gives me a little bit of coverage, especially when I'm baking my under eye concealer or just using it to set my foundation. The e.l.f. powder is a lot thinner and it's a lot more fine, so it's not going to give you any extra coverage. I mean, it is a translucent setting powder, so I don't know if that's what you're looking for when it comes to a powder like that, but it does a great job at setting your foundation, and it's great for also baking your under eye concealer. I feel like it does the exact same thing when it comes to baking, so if you do use a loose powder for baking, definitely go with this one because it literally does the same thing. As for setting my foundation, I feel like if you have oily skin, it is a great option because it is going to keep your skin matte, and if you have dry skin, it's not too heavy or too cakey, so it might be a great option for you as well. I would recommend trying this out. I think it's so affordable for the actual product. I think it's a great option, and I do like it better than some of my higher end setting powders, just not my Laura Mercier one, but again, I will use it a few times a week, especially if I'm just kind of running errands or sitting around the house. And the only other thing I thought as soon as I dropped that, it's so messy, so I would recommend leaving like the sticker on and just poking a few holes in the top because it comes out so quickly, and the fact that I just tossed it across the room means it's going to be all over the place when I open it. So another face product that I've really been loving is their Beautifully Bare 3-in-1 makeup base or makeup primer. I'll put, again, the name on the screen. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I love this. I actually included it in a recent video. I filmed a new video on my favorite face primers, and I had to include it because it is an amazing option that is super affordable. So it goes on like a moisturizer, and it's kind of surprising because in general, I don't really love like lotion type primers. I don't like how they make my skin feel or how they make my foundation apply, but this is an amazing option if you do have oily skin because it dries matte, but it's not overly matte where it's going to be uncomfortable on your skin, and it just gives you a really nice smooth base for your foundation. But unlike their other primers that come in like the white and clear packaging, this one is not slippery. Sometimes if a primer is too slippery, your foundation is just going to slide right off, especially if you have oily skin, because you already have to worry about that in the first place. This one just locks your foundation into place and it stays on, and I really like it. It's definitely comparable to my Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. This one's a little bit thicker, and it doesn't feel exactly the same when you apply it, but it gives you the same effect once you apply your foundation. So I would absolutely recommend picking this up. I actually read a review on the e.l.f. website saying that you get like 2 or 3 times the amount of product as you do in their other primers. Even though this one is just a little bit more expensive, it's actually worth it because of the amount of product you get in it. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of you guys have told me their other primers come with like actually a very small amount of product compared to the packaging. I've really been liking their Shadow Lock Eyelid Primer primer in the shade Pearl, and I do have the original formula as well. The only difference is that this one has kind of like a shimmery finish. I'll swatch it for you guys. But I like that because a lot of times I will start off my eye look with a shimmery shadow all over the lid, and I just like how that looks because no matter what shadows I put on top, I feel like it just kind of brightens up my eye and just makes all the other shadows go on really nicely. So I feel like this is the perfect counterpart to my shimmery eyelid shadow because this one just gives me a nice shimmery base. I'm always surprised by how much I like the e.l.f. eyelid primer. I feel like it does lock my shadows into place, and I would say if I have like an extremely long day or it's really hot outside, which I don't have to worry about right now since it is November, then I wouldn't reach for this because I do have oily eyelids and I feel like I need a super strong shadow primer on days that are going to be a little bit longer. But for an everyday basis, or if I'm just doing like an easy, simple eye look, this is a great option. It's so much more affordable than my favorite Smashbox primer or my favorite Urban Decay primer, so I would recommend picking it up. If you guys watch my videos regularly, then it is no secret I love their baked blushes. I have the other three. I think there are only 3 other shades, but I didn't have Rich Rose, and a lot of you told me that this one is your favorite, and I have to say it is an absolutely beautiful color. I feel like it is perfect for fall and winter, and it's just a gorgeous, beautiful, like everyday blush. It doesn't have too much pink in it, but it also doesn't have too much brown in it, and it just has a very slight sheen. So I feel like it would be flattering on a lot of different skin tones. If you have light skin, you could use a really light hand, but if you have medium skin, I would recommend kind of layering it on and you would get such a gorgeous effect. So I generally am not a huge fan of liquid shadows. I really haven't tried too many, to be honest, but I definitely prefer like powder shadows or maybe ColourPop texture where it's kind of like a cream but it's also a powder. These are so beautiful though. They're extremely pigmented and they stay in place, and I really wasn't sure if I would like them because I didn't know how to use them at first, but I did try out Molten Bronze and I just applied a little bit to my lid, so they just swipe on really easily. They're very pigmented, and then I used my finger to blend it out. So I did blend it kind of all over the lid, a little bit up into the crease, and then I took another shade once this dried and applied it to the crease. I like these because they do dry, which is what I was a little bit nervous about. When it comes to a liquid shadow, I wasn't sure if it was going to completely dry down, but these do dry and they stay in place. If you're looking for a really quick eyeshadow look, these are a great option because you can just apply them and go out the door if you don't want to do anything extra. I personally love blending like a million shadows on my eyes, so I'll probably use this on the lid and then apply one in the crease, or you know, just something simple like that, but I do think they are a really cool product and they do work in my opinion. Okay, let's switch gears and I will talk about disappointing products, and then we will come back and talk about products that were good but you might not necessarily need, or you might really like them, just depending on your personal preferences. So disappointing products, I definitely had a few of them. The first one I would not recommend to anybody. I just feel like it is a horrible product and they should probably just discontinue it unless I got a dud, but I don't know. It is the Intense Ink Eyeliner, and honestly this is just probably one of the worst eyeliners I've tried, which is disappointing because I really like eyeliners that come in this pen form. I feel like in general they're a lot easier to use than other eyeliners, but this one is just dry, it's patchy, it doesn't apply well. Like as you guys can see, it's not pigmented at all, and it's probably just one of the worst eyeliners I've ever tried. I do like their eyeliner that comes in like the little pot, and it has like a cone shaped tip that you open up and you apply it like that. It's just like their liquid liner, I think. But I did not like this one at all. I would definitely not recommend it. It's just a lousy product. I'm actually so sad about this next product. I really had high hopes for it and I was hoping that it was going to be one of my favorites. And honestly, I was surprised that I was so disappointed by it because I do like their other eyeshadow palettes. But I have to say their nude rose gold eyeshadow palette was kind of a fail for me. I wouldn't say that I hate it as much as I hate like the eyeliner I just talked about, but it was definitely disappointing. I feel like it swatches so much better than the shadows actually apply with a brush, or even sometimes if I take my finger and apply it to my eye like that, I feel like it just doesn't go on as nicely as it does when you swatch it on your hand. I mean, I definitely wouldn't say this is the worst eyeshadow palette out there, and if you can get it on sale, like sometimes they run their 50% off sale, so if you can get it for $5, then I think it might be worth trying because there are a few shades in the palette that do work really well. specifically the shimmery shades. I feel like they are a lot better than the matte shades, and I feel like you can wet your brush and work with the shimmery shadows, but it definitely wasn't my favorite palette. I would not say run out and make sure you guys add it to your collection right away. I just feel like they have other palettes that work a little bit better, and the colors are so beautiful, so I was definitely disappointed that it didn't work as well as I wanted it to, and they weren't super pigmented. So I would say save yourself the money. I think it retails for around $10, which I feel like is not worth it. If you can get it on sale, it might be worth trying out because there are some beautiful shades, but overall I would have to say pass on this one. My last disappointing product was their matte blush duo in the shade Soft and Subtle. So I don't think that this product is a bad product, I just think that the colors didn't work well for my skin tone. The darker shade was definitely more wearable for me because it is a really natural pink shade, which I think is beautiful and I will definitely wear it, but the lighter shade, I just can't imagine that it would look great on a lot of skin tones. I don't think it would work really well for light skin tones, and then I think it would be too light to work well for medium or dark skin tones. You could probably use both of these shades as eyeshadows, which might be a great option for you, and it wasn't super expensive, so I would say if you do want to spend the money, the darker shade might be worth it for you, but I would have to say the lighter shade was just a little bit of a dud. It doesn't work as a bronzer. I mean, maybe if you have very, very pale skin, it might be a good bronzer for you, but honestly, it didn't work for me. I like some of their other duos a little bit better. Okay, so let's talk about some products that were good. I wouldn't say they're my absolute favorite, and I incorporated them into my everyday makeup routine, and I think you should run out and grab them right away, but I wouldn't say they are bad products. They might just work for you depending on what you're looking for, or they might not. So the first one is their Clay Eyeshadow Palette in the shade Saturday Sunset. So this one comes with 5 shadows, and I really actually like their Clay eyeshadow palettes. I think that this is way better quality than the Nude Rose Gold palette, but it only comes with 5 shadows. These palettes come with a lot more shadow options, and these only come with 5, so if you only like 1 or 2 of the options, it might not be worth it to you. I feel like there are 4 really wearable shades, or 4 shades that I personally would wear in this palette. I wouldn't get a whole lot of use out of the pink shade, but I think that this is a good option. It just depends on whether or not the colors are something that appeals to you. They also have other options, so even if you don't like this one, they do have a neutral option, and then I think they have like a purple option too. So I think these are really a fun choice. I think they work well. They definitely apply better if you use your brush wet, as do a lot of e.l.f. shadows in my opinion, but I think it could be a good addition to your collection just depending on if you like the colors. So the next product I liked, but again, I don't know if it's necessarily an essential for your collection, and these are their Shadow Liner Duos. I don't remember the official name, but these are good products. They definitely work well, and just depending on your personal preferences, you might want to add them to your collection. So one side is a shadow stick, and I really like these shadow sticks. They are kind of like a cream shadow in a stick form. They go on beautifully, and you can blend them out with a brush. I wouldn't say they dry down like the liquid shadows, so you just kind of have to be careful or set them with a powder shadow. And then the other side is an eyeliner. And I feel like the eyeliners are pretty good. I feel like they work well either in the waterline or on your upper lash line, and I like them. Personally, I don't see myself using them a whole lot, but if you're looking for, again, an easy eye look, these might be a great option for you, or they might be good for traveling because they're kind of like a 2-in-1 product. Next we have the e.l.f. Eye Refresh, and I do really like this product. I don't know why I split this video so weird. I did like favorites, products I don't like, and then products I kind of like, but I feel like this is a good option as well. I've been using it underneath my eyes, and I love how it feels. I feel like it leaves my eyes very refreshed and awake, and I feel like it just does a good job. I don't know if it's helping with my puffy under eyes or my dark under eye circles, but I do continue to use it because I like how it feels. Okay guys, that is the end of my video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope this video was helpful and not too long or rambly, but I definitely wanted to keep you updated on all of the products that I tried. If there are any other products that you want me to review from e.l.f.'s website, just let me know in the comments below because I am going to place another order very soon and grab the rest of their skincare products. So I'm definitely happy to try out more products and keep you guys posted. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.